small village lived a farmer named John. He was known for his vast fields of yams and his insatiable desire for wealth. John was not satisfied with his earnings. Despite having the most bountiful harvest in the village, he always wanted more, and his greed knew no bounds. One day, a stranger wandered into the village. He had a warm smile and carried a bag full of golden seeds. The stranger introduced himself as Edward. Edward offered these seeds to the villagers, claiming they were magical and could yield crops overnight. Intrigued, John invited Edward to his home. Edward explained that the seeds required care and respect to grow. He warned John that greed could result in the crops withering away. Blinded by the thought of endless wealth, John dismissed Edward's warning and bought all the seeds. Edward left, hoping John would heed his advice. John planted the seeds in his fields and waited. By morning, his fields were filled with the most beautiful yams he had ever seen. Overwhelmed by the sight, John started harvesting the yams, but his greed got the better of him, and he wanted more. He decided to plant more seeds without giving the soil time to rest. Neglecting Edward's warning, he was consumed by the thought of his increasing wealth. The next morning, John was shocked to find his fields barren. The yams had disappeared, and the ground was as dry as a bone. In despair, John went to the village elder, Mary, for advice. Mary was known for her wisdom, and the villagers often sought her guidance. After listening to John's tale, Mary reminded him of Edward's warning. She advised him to respect nature and not let his greed consume him. John realized his mistake and felt remorseful. He decided to apologize to Edward and correct his wrongdoings, but Edward had left the village. Undeterred, John set out in search of Edward. He traveled for days, passing through several villages, but there was no sign of Edward. Eventually, John found Edward in a distant village. He apologized for his greediness and begged for a chance to correct his mistakes. Touched by John's sincerity, Edward forgave him. He gave John a single golden seed and advised him to treat it with care and respect. John returned to his village and planted the seed. He tended to it with care and patiently waited for it to grow. The next morning, John was delighted to see a single yam sprout from the seed. He harvested it and shared it with the villagers, promising to be more generous in the future. The villagers were touched by John's change of heart. They celebrated and thanked him for his generosity. John felt content and happy. From that day forward, John was known not for his wealth but for his kindness and generosity. He learned that happiness comes from giving, not from accumulating wealth. The story of John and his transformation spread across the surrounding villages. It served as a reminder to all about the dangers of greed and the importance of respect for nature. John's tale taught everyone that true wealth lies not in material possessions but in the happiness and prosperity of the community. It was a lesson learned the hard way, but a lesson well remembered. John lived the rest of his life in contentment, sharing his harvest with the village. His story continued to inspire generations, teaching them the value of respect for nature and the perils of greed. Edward's golden seeds continued to be a symbol of wisdom and respect for nature. They reminded everyone that greed leads to ruin, while care, respect, and generosity yield abundant rewards. And so, the story of the greedy farmer who learned his lesson became a timeless tale in the village. A tale that served as a beacon of wisdom, reminding everyone of the virtues of humility and respect for nature. John's transformation from a greedy farmer to a generous provider is a testament to the power of change and the importance of humility. His story is a reminder that true wealth lies in the heart, not in the hands. The tale of John, the greedy farmer, continues to echo in the winds of the Nigerian plains, teaching the importance of respect, generosity, and the true value of wealth.
And that's the end of this inspiring story. If you enjoyed this tale and the valuable lesson it teaches, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we post more educative and entertaining content. Your likes, comments, and shares with your family and friends are greatly appreciated. Thank you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to sharing more stories with you in the future. Remain blessed.